All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Have you ever stared at the check engine light on your car dashboard and just, well, turned up the radio instead of dealing with it? We've all been there. Today, we're looking at an incredibly concise but deeply profound piece of writing that dissects why we do exactly that kind of thing. It explores this concept called casual sentiment. It's basically this invisible, almost gravitational force that nudges our daily decisions, usually without us even realizing it's happening. In this explainer, we're going to use the text to break down what actually happens when our very human desire for comfort collides head-on with the cold, hard nature of reality. It's a really fascinating journey into our own minds, so let's get started.
So, I want to start off with a surprisingly difficult question. Do you choose what works or what simply feels good? I know it seems innocent enough at first glance, but it gets right to the heart of a shared human vulnerability. You see, the source text we're analyzing points out that more often than not, we instinctively prefer emotional comfort over reality. We inherently just want things to be easy. We want our choices, our core beliefs, and our actions to bring us immediate emotional satisfaction, even if, deep down, we know that satisfaction is just a comforting illusion. And our source text gives a specific name to this: casual sentiment. It defines it as the active process of making choices based purely on feelings, literally replacing what is true and actually works with what simply sounds good. Think about how often we see this in our daily lives. Actually, it's usually not driven by any sort of malice. Instead, it's just this slow drift away from truth. Why? Because the truth can be heavy, it can be complex, and frankly, it's exhausting. Meanwhile, what sounds good is wonderfully light, incredibly easy to digest, and it doesn't challenge us. Every single day, we're engaged in this silent, ongoing trade-off between two extremes. On one hand, we can rely on doing the right thing and prioritizing what actually works. It's kind of like having a reliable compass guiding you through reality, even if the terrain itself is incredibly rough. Or, on the other hand, we can opt for a soft pillow, prioritizing feeling good and listening only to what sounds good. The source material argues that we're constantly trading the actual effectiveness of reality for the temporary warmth of a pleasant feeling. And as the text warns us, we literally become addicted to our feelings and to being totally casual in our overall approach to life. Which brings us to Section 1, the societal ripple effect.
Now, this isn't just about what you or I decide to have for dinner. When you scale this up, our text outlines a highly dangerous behavioral domino effect. It starts out simply enough. Step 1, we become addicted to our feelings. Then, because we fiercely want to protect those good feelings, we naturally slide into Step 2, becoming casual seekers of information. We don't want to dig deep into facts or data. We just skim for the surface-level stuff that instantly validates how we already feel. And then the ultimate societal consequence, Step 3, is how we vote. The text specifically points out that citizens end up voting based entirely on how they feel about the person contesting. And I want to be clear, without taking any political sides whatsoever, the source is making a totally impartial structural observation here. When citizens are merely casual seekers of information, their democratic choices are driven by pure sentiment regarding the contestants, rather than an objective analysis of what actually works to keep society functioning.
Let's move on to Section 2, the entitlement illusion.
So we really need to pause for a second and ask why this is happening. Why on earth do we allow ourselves to become so casual about the incredibly complex structures that hold our society together? While our source text identifies the root cause, we strongly believe that all the systems and entities are established to take care of us. Because we naturally assume society is this giant, infallible safety net that's just going to unconditionally catch us, we develop a strong, almost irresistible drive to simply neglect things. We don't feel the need to take responsibility for deeply understanding these structures because, well, we assume they just run on autopilot for our own personal benefit. Our entire take-it-easy attitude is born directly from this false sense of absolute security. And that leads us to our final section, Section 3, Facing the Fire. This brings us to a stark, incredibly heavy warning from the text. That irresistible drive to be casual seekers of information and to just neglect the structures that hold us up will continue completely unchecked right up until a very specific moment. As the quote says, until we face the fire and feel the pain of our take-it-easy attitude. The fire here represents the harsh reality that we've been ignoring, simply because it didn't sound good at the time. It's the ultimate, inescapable cost of prioritizing our own emotional comfort over what is actually true and what actually works.
So I want to leave you with this final, memorable thought. Will you wait for the fire, or will you rethink your casual sentiment today?
This explainer has walked us through the exact mechanics of how our everyday addiction to comfortable feelings can lead to massive systemic neglect. It's a powerful, challenging reminder to really look at our own take-it-easy attitudes in our daily lives. The very next time you have to make a vital decision, or evaluate a piece of news, or participate in your community, I challenge you to ask yourself, are you looking for what feels good or what actually works? Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this highly relevant topic. Keep questioning what you read, keep focusing on reality, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.